Serve and protect. This is what our law enforcement does every day they don their uniform. Meet correctional officers Arriola and Galindo, who showed extreme devotion to these very duties. This is why there are 2013 World Red Cross Day heroes in the law enforcement category.
It was in December of the end of last year. My partner and I, we were taking a van up to Santee, California.
Maybe about a good 2 miles away from Alpine. The weather was extremely rainy. It was super. I mean, it was coming down so hard. Your windshield wipers couldn't give you enough visibility to look, 4 or 5 feet away, in front of you.
My partner and I were driving a van each, so we had 2 vans. We were right behind each other, going about 55 in the slow lane. I believe it was like a newer model F-150. Passed us about, I want to say at least pushing maybe 70 miles an hour on the fast lane.
When I saw the vehicle, I just paid attention to him. I said to myself, man, this guy's going too fast. And as soon as I said that, I've seen the vehicle just lose control, like hydroplaning and going around circles on the freeway. And once I seen it do that, I said, oh man, this is not going to be good.
Eventually went off the road, hit an embankment.
Seen the back tire hit it, and it just kind of flew up in the air like the see in the movies. The truck just went up in the air, went down the embankment.
That was that. We reacted. We stopped. Pulled over. Ran across the freeway. My partner was relaying traffic, through our radios.
We looked through the one front windshield, and we saw a gentleman there taking his seatbelt off. So we kind of noticed that he had a seatbelt on.
Thank God he was okay. He was fine. The only problem was getting him out.
We made contact with a gentleman in there, and he said he was all right. He was moving around. He was all right. We just kind of told him to move away from the window. We were going to try to wait because the truck was sizzling, popping, doing all kinds of weird noises. We didn't know if it was going to catch fire or do whatsoever.
Proceeded to break the front windshield. Luckily, he had some jackets and stuff. So as soon as we were able to break the windshield, use the jackets to peel the window apart and create a big enough gap to basically pull him out.
After we pulled this guy from this truck, we staged him up in our transportation van, turned the heater on, asked him to make sure he was all right. Kept in touch with our dispatch to make sure that Highway Patrol was en route. And after they showed up, they took over and we went upon our day.
Basically, our training, our department, has done a great job. Our administration, our lieutenants, our captain, especially our training coordinators. They do an excellent job at getting us trained. With the trainings we need to react to situations like this one.
I think it's just throughout trainings and experiences, you tend to have muscle memory and just react upon the situation. I couldn't tell you what I was feeling at that moment. All I know is the only thing I felt is that water was coming out cold. That's all I felt. It was really cold water. But afterwards, you kind of sit and think through and say, well, maybe I should have done this, maybe I should have done that. But either way, it's unexplainable feelings. You just don't know. It's just reaction, your natural reaction, I guess.
He actually realized that there was very minimal traffic on the highway that evening because of the weather conditions. And he recognized that if we weren't behind him and witnessed what had happened, that it would have been very possible for him not to be found or rescued, because nobody would have known that he was down the embankment, and because you totally lost visual of his vehicle. Because of the water, you can't see any road markings. You couldn't see any road markings off the road or anything. So he was thankful, and I was happy that he was okay. And I told him that I was happy he had his seatbelt on, because that's what actually saved him.